Having CSS Grid controls inside Generate Blocks has been a huge game changer for me because I really like the way Grid works. Now, Grid can be pretty simple, but it also introduces all kinds of things that you might not have run across before. Things like using fractional units or repeat functions, even doing min-max or min functions, and using Autofit or autofill. Now, if none of this is making sense, I hope this video is going to fix that for you. We're going to be looking at the Grid Template Columns declaration today, starting with its most simplistic form and building up one level at a time until we get to something that's automatically responsive. That means you don't really have to write any media queries or decide what happens at different breakpoints. If you're interested in learning more about CSS Grid, then stick around and let's get started. So I've set up a demo here for us to start playing around with these different Grid Template Columns declarations. All we have in here so far is a section with a wrapper that's just constraining everything to our website's content width. And then inside of that, we have 3 divs that we're going to be using for our columns. Now, of course, for all of these, we're going to have to change this to display grid. So I'm going to make sure to select my wrapper here. And on the right-hand side, I'm going to change this display property from default to grid. Now, I do want to add just a little bit of space in between all these columns just to make it easier for us to visualize. So I'll go ahead and add 20 pixels of gap here. Now you can see, even though we changed this to grid, it's not really changed the layout, although it did allow us to start adding gap to it. But without a Grid Template Columns declaration here, we're not going to be able to set up our columns. So at the most basic level here, we could add something like 100 pixels, 100 pixels, 100 pixels. And that will give us 3 columns here, each 100 pixels wide. Now, it's not as common to use static values like pixels here in your Grid Template Columns, although sometimes you might want to do that. What's much more common is using the FR unit or fractional unit. Instead of doing 100 pixels each time here, I'm going to do 1FR, 1FR, 1FR. And that's going to give us 3 equal columns here, each one being 1 fraction of the available width of this entire wrapper. So it's just going through and doing the math for us and saying, hey, make each one of these columns inside of it 1 fractional unit wide. Now we can change that up. Let's say we wanted this column in the middle to be twice as big as the column on the left and right. We can go in here into this middle declaration here, and we can change this to 2FR. Now the column in the middle is 2 FR units wide, or twice as big as the one on the right and left. You can almost picture this Grid Template Columns laying things out where here we see our first column, which is green. Here we see our second column, which is blue. And here we see our last column, which is purple. Now you can also mix up these units. So if we wanted the first one to be 100 pixels wide for whatever reason, we can say, okay, go ahead and make this one 100 pixels wide, and then distribute the space of these last 2. The middle one is going to be twice as big as the one on the right. So now we can see this blue column is twice as big as this purple one here. So you can mix and match the different values here to come out with the layouts you need. Where we do run into some problems with these really simple declarations here is, let's say we needed a setup where we had 10 columns wide. We'd have to type in 1FR, 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 1FR. That gives us 5. I can go ahead and copy that and then paste it back in. And now we have 10 columns here. But this is really hard to keep up with or even count. So instead of doing that, we can move to level 2 and introduce the repeat function. So if we wanted to do that same example using the repeat function, instead of typing 1FR 10 times, we would type in the word repeat, open our parentheses, we would type in 10, which is how many times we want this to repeat, comma, and then the size of our column. So in this case, let's say 1FR, and then we can close our parentheses. Now this is just like what we had before, where we had 1FR repeating 10 different times over and over, except we simplified it with this repeat function. Of course, they all don't have to be 1 fractional unit wide. We could go in here and create some kind of pattern where we wanted the even columns to be twice as big. Now we have 1FR, 2FR, 1FR, and if we duplicated this again, you can see it's 2FR. It's just repeating that pattern, which is really nice. Now let me get this set back up with just a simple 3-column grid. We'll just do repeat 3, 1FR. And now we have our 3 columns back. However, there are some limitations to this declaration as well, even though it's really simple to write out. And to demonstrate that, I'm going to go ahead and add some content inside of each one of our columns. Okay, so I've added a headline and some text to each one of our columns, but let's see what happens as we use our responsive controls and go down to our different breakpoints. So here we'll go to our tablet breakpoint and everything still looks okay. But when we go down to our mobile breakpoint, you can see this layout is breaking. We're actually overflowing our entire wrapper here. We can't even see that last column because it's being pushed off the side of our canvas here. and that's because these columns can't shrink any smaller than the size of the text inside of them, which is causing some serious overflow issues. But we can actually fix that in level 3 when we add a minmax function. So back here in our repeat 3 1fr, I'm going to go ahead and delete that 1fr, and I'm going to type in the word min-max and open my parentheses. Here we're going to give this a minimum value and a maximum value. So I'll do 0 for the minimum value. We want it to get as small as it could possibly get. We'll add a comma, then we'll add 1fr, and then we need to close that parentheses here. So we have this min-max function here that's saying you can get as small as 0 pixels wide and as big as 1 fractional unit. In this case, we have 3 columns, so it's going to get 1/3 of the page. Now the difference this makes is when we go down to our tablet, everything looks just like it did before. But when we go down to our mobile breakpoint, you can see it's keeping our entire grid intact and staying inside of our section here. Now it's breaking our headline in this case, but I'd rather our text break in this case than break the entire layout and cause overflow issues. So it's much safer to go with this min-max function. In fact, if you go into the presets here inside generate blocks, and we'll change this to the 4 column, you can see they're using this min-max function by default because it just makes your layouts more responsive and prevents you from going into situations where things are overflowing. However, there's probably no case where you actually want your columns to shrink down this skinny and the text to be all broken inside of it, so we can fix that automatically and make it more automatically responsive by using Autofit. I'm going to go ahead and delete out our entire grid template columns here so we can start from scratch. Autofit is going to work really similar to the repeat function we just did, except instead of specifying the number of columns we want, we're going to specify how small a column can get and how large it can grow, and then just let the browser calculate how many columns can fit in that space. So let me show you how this works. The first thing we're going to do is type in repeat and open our parentheses. Here before is where we entered 10 or whatever number of columns we wanted, and I'm just going to do auto-fit here. We'll add a comma at the end and then add a space. Again, we're going to be using our min-max function, so I'll go ahead and type min-max and we'll open up our parentheses here. Now we can decide on how small we want a column to be and how big it can grow to. So let's say we never want a column to get smaller than 300 pixels wide. We can go ahead and type in 300 pixels. We'll do a comma and then we'll say 1fr because we want this to grow to whatever fractional unit is available. Unfortunately, the UI kind of gets in the way here, but we'll clean that up. I'll add the closing parentheses here for our min-max function and then the closing parentheses for our Autofit. If I just copy this entire declaration here and open up a little window and paste this in, you can see we have our repeat function just like we did before, but instead of specifying the number of columns, we're going to let the browser calculate that by using the Autofit. Now for our min-max function here, we're going to say never let these columns get smaller than 300 pixels wide, but let them grow to 1fr. This means it's going to be able to grow as big as it needs to be and fill up the entire space. So let's take a look at what this declaration does a little bit differently. If we go in here to our tablet version, we can see this is actually taking it from a 3-column layout to a 2-column layout and place this last one on the next row. This is happening because we got to a point where the columns would have to be smaller than 300 pixels, and our grid template column declaration says that a column should never get smaller than 300 pixels. So it's going ahead and putting that last one to the next row and then filling up the space here with each one of our columns. So back here at our desktop, we have 3 columns because they can all be at least 300 pixels wide. But once we get here to our tablet breakpoint, we can no longer fit 3 of them next to each other when they have to be at least 300 pixels wide. So it's gone ahead and put it onto another row. Same thing happens here when we go down to our mobile. You can see we couldn't get 2 of them next to each other. There's not 600 pixels in here to be able to put one next to another. So it's gone ahead and just stacked these on top of each other. I imagine most time when you're making a 3-column grid like this, you've just been using the breakpoint controls to change this to 2 columns and then here on mobile down to 1 column. But the nice thing about this declaration with the Autofit is it's doing all that work for you. All you have to do is decide how narrow your columns can actually get. But there is a drawback to this setup as well, where we can still inadvertently cause some overflow issues. Now, right now in our grid template columns, we've set this to be a minimum of 300 pixels. But let's say just for instance, we wanted this to be 400 pixels and we'll add an extra column in here just so we have things nice and even. We'll go ahead and save this because I want to take a look on the front end where we can use the inspector. So with a minimum of 400 pixels, we're still getting a 3-column layout here on our desktop, but let's use the inspector here so we can play around with this and see what happens responsively. So here on our widest size, we do have 3 columns. And as we shrink down, we see we pretty quickly get to a point where this needs to break into 2 columns since these have to be at least 400 pixels wide. Now when we get here, it's breaking into a single column, which is great, and that's going to work nice on most mobile devices. But what about a mobile device that's less than 400 pixels wide? If we keep scrunching this in, we can see our admin bar here is shrinking down, and that's because these boxes are actually overflowing our viewport here. We're creating some overflow issue here because we're saying these boxes can never get smaller than 400 pixels, but our viewport size is less than 400 pixels, so we have an issue here with the math. We can actually fix this with level 5, which is going to introduce one more function for you to learn. So I'm going to go ahead and use our little notepad here since the UI is getting in the way. And right now what we're seeing on the screen is what we have inside of our website right now, which is our repeat of Autofit with a min-max of 400 pixels for the minimum and 1 FR for the maximum. Of course, we're running into an issue here where 400 pixels is actually too wide for some devices, but we can fix that with one more function, which is the min function. So I've placed my cursor here just before the 400 pixels, and I'm going to type in the word min and open my parentheses. Now after the 400 pixels, I'm going to go ahead and place my cursor and type in another comma and do 100% and then close my parentheses. So what we've done is just replace that 400 pixels we had here before with this new min function that says pick whichever one is smaller, either 400 pixels or 100% of the screen. What this is going to do is allow us to go to device sizes that are smaller than 400 pixels wide because this min function is going to pick the smaller of the two values inside these parentheses. In most cases, on anything bigger than 400 pixels wide, it's going to use this 400 pixels because it's going to be the smaller of the two values. However, when we get below 400 pixels, 100% of your viewport is going to be smaller than the 400 pixels. So that rule is going to kick in and it's going to keep us from overflowing here. So let's go ahead and copy this declaration here, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it into our grid template columns. We'll go ahead and save this and refresh on the front end, and we can see we have virtually the same layout here where when we're going to our widest, we have 3 columns, we quickly get to 2, and then we get down to this single column. Now right now this is filling up the 1 FR, but as we get down here to a smaller viewport where we started overflowing before anything under 400 pixels, we can see we're now down at 371 and everything is just shrinking down nicely. That's because that min function is kicking in and allowing this to be 100% of the viewport if that's smaller than the 400 pixels we set up. In this case, the 311 viewport width is smaller than 400 pixels, so this is just being 100% of it wide, which is the minimum value in our min function. Now, you probably won't prevent issues at every single breakpoint, but there's very few devices that are going to get this small. This level 5 declaration is going to work just about all the time, and it's a really great way to give your layout some flexibility where the browser can just decide how many columns it is. You're just setting up a minimum size for each one of those columns based on what looks good in your design. I imagine if you were just getting started with Grid, level 1, 2, and 3 probably all makes sense, but when we get to level 4 and level 5, it starts to get complicated. And I went through that same process as I was learning myself. In fact, I keep that level 5 grid inside my text expander so I can just deploy it without having to remember exactly how to write it out each time. One of the downfalls of CSS Grid is those declarations get really long and complex, but what it allows us to do, especially to make things auto-responsive, is really, really cool, so I definitely think it's worth learning. I've left all those different declarations down in the video description below so you can copy and paste them and use them as you will. I would encourage you to just play around with this in your layouts until you finally get that moment where everything clicks for you. There's still a lot to learn when it comes to CSS Grid. Grid Areas is another place where there's all kinds of really cool controls and functions, so if you'd like to see something like that, let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, I would really appreciate a thumbs up, and if you want to make sure to catch the next one, hit subscribe, and we'll see you then.